right, so good morning and welcome. Apologies again for the delay as well as kicking everybody out. Apologies. So I'm Nikki Algarin Chavarria. And today we'll be covering the eBusiness request and forms. Before we get started, I just wanted to go over what you can expect heading into this training. One is this presentation is content heavy, so I apologize in advance. It's a lot of information to cover, but I'm hoping the details can be referred back to at a later time once the slides are shared. Two, any questions are welcomed at any time. Please feel free to stop me at any point in the presentation. If you're typing your questions in the chat, the eBusiness team will respond to you in chat. And if they can't get to your question, please feel free to speak up and ask it. We're here to answer any questions that you may have. So please don't be shy. Three, the eBusiness team will provide links to the forms in the chat as I present the different forms. So you can pull them up at your leisure and kind of follow along if you like. And then last one, as I mentioned earlier, the slides will be shared. And this presentation is recorded. So it should be available online, hopefully by the end of this week, if not early next week. All right. So today we'll be covering the eBusiness request forms, Staples user application, the Staples revision request, P-card application and agreement, P-card revision request, U.S. Bank delegation of authority. And then we have the eBusiness forms, which includes the loss and missing receipt verification, P-card, unauthorized purchase approval request, also known as the U-part. And then eBusiness requests by email, which includes the temporary limit increase and the queue number request. All right, so starting with Staples Advantage, the user account application. This form is used to request a new user account for Staples Advantage. The processing time for this particular form is 3 to 5 days. And why would you request a Staples user account? Well, primary use is because it is our primary office supplier per the CSU agreement. So we should be utilizing them over Amazon or any other suppliers. That's not to say that if their prices are higher, that we are required to go with them, but they should take priority over some of the other competitors. We receive discounts through the Staples Advantage and through the online access as well as in stores when you provide your Zoom phone number. Stocked general office supplies are delivered within 24 hours, and then deliveries over $50 is free. Also, they offer an employee discount program. So if you're looking to purchase office supplies for personal use, that is also available to you. Application requirements. So as you're preparing the application, you must be a state employee. So auxiliary employees are not able to receive an account for Staples Advantage in this format. Now they can take advantage of the employee discount program and still receive the same discounts that way, but through staplesadvantage.com, it is only for state employees. Things to consider when you're completing the form. Ensure that the CSUF email address and the building room number are accurate. Please provide a Zoom number, preferably not a department number, because it is authenticated to the individual. So it's very unique to the individual. So if that individual is going in stores, they would provide their Zoom number, phone number, in order to receive the same discounts they would get online in stores. And then the first chart field provided in the form is your default. So whatever you're planning to order will automatically be charged to that default unless you direct it otherwise. P cards may not be used online, but they are allowed for in-store purchases. And then the approving official should be the immediate supervisor, and all signatures are required. Electronic signatures will require the Adobe audit report. And then this form is sent to eBusiness for processing. Any questions? So Staples Advantage revision requests. This form is used to revise an existing Staples Advantage user account. It, again, the general process time for this is about 3 to 5 days. And why would you request a Staples user, a revision request for your Staples user account? To change your contact information, such as your name, your phone number, or location, adding or removing chart fields, changing your approving official. And then the request requirements, things to be considered when completing the form: ensure the information provided is accurate. And then again, all signatures are required. Electronic signatures do require the Adobe audit report. Things to know about Staples Advantage. So the Staples website that is used for our discount is staplesadvantage.com, not staples.com. Users can reset their own password. So I advise you not to email eBusiness, because we'll just tell you to reset your own password. Staples assists with diverting product options to abide by recycling and zero waste laws and policies that the CSU and state have in place. And it will also help identify lower cost items as well. Staples offers printing services that can be delivered or picked up. The closest store is in Brea. Blanket hospitality forms for items such as coffee, water, snacks, the things that you might purchase through Staples that have a hospitality aspect, should be kept on file. And then contracts and procurement should be contacted if furniture orders, if you're looking to place furniture orders that cannot easily be picked up or moved, such as a desk chair, which a desk chair is okay to purchase through Staples. But let's say you're ordering a desk, you need to contact contracts and procurement first. Do not purchase IT equipment without your IT authorization, if applicable. And then do not purchase bug spray or other common chemicals without checking with EHS or facilities first. I know we tend to have ant problems, but unfortunately we can't just pick up a bottle of ant spray and, start using it. There is a process for chemicals. I would say maybe your common chemicals, such as all-purpose spray or your keyboard sprays, that would be allowable, but something like bug spray would be questionable, and you should contact EHS or facilities. Any questions regarding staples? All right. So moving on to the procurement card, also known as the P card, application and agreement. So this is used to request a procurement card account issued in an individual's name. And the general processing time for this particular request is 2 to 3 weeks. Why request a P card account? It's an efficient way to purchase small dollar goods and supplies, and some services with a queue number. It also offers direct spending access to state and IRA funds. And then there are 3 programs available based on an individual or a program's needs. The application requirements must be a state employee or a student, enrolled student. Things to consider when completing the form: ensure the form is completed in full and accurately. Select the most appropriate P card program based on the cardholder's needs or possibly the department's needs. And then the approving official should always be the cardholder's immediate supervisor. All signatures are required, and again, electronic signatures require the Adobe audit report. So here we have the 3 P card types that are available. The 1 card is your standard P card with credit availability resetting monthly. Then you have your declining balance card, which is a set credit limit with purchases deducting from that credit limit. So if you start with a balance of $20,000 and you're spending every month $1,000, and it just keeps deducting from that 20. So this month it may be 19, the following month it'll be an $18,000 credit limit. So and then lastly is the instant card, which is typically issued to students for purchasing meals while on official travel. Any questions regarding the P card request form and types? So the procurement card revision request form is used for the P card account to change P card account information. General processing time for this is 3 to 5 days. And then what is the P card revision request form used for? Name changes, adding and removing chart fields, temporary or permanent credit increases, changes in approving official, and then your changes to the default chart fields. Request requirements. Things to consider when completing the form. Ensure the information is provided fully and accurately. And then again, all signatures are needed. Electronic signatures require the Adobe audit report. Things to know about the procurement card. So the P card program is a privilege and not a right. The P card program is audited by the CO on a quarterly basis. We ask that cardholders please take the policy and the CO and internal audits seriously, as there are consequences to not following the policy. And then the U.S. bank statement should be used in conjunction with Concur. So if you have access to your online statements, you would use that information to verify that all your expenses have been posted in Concur. And then you're also ensuring that your expenses are meeting the right billing cycle. And then access to Amazon Business Prime is given to every cardholder. Any questions regarding the procurement card? So now let's cover the U.S. Bank delegation of authority. This form is used to grant delegation to U.S. Bank access for cardholders' account online. The general processing time is 3 to 5 days. And when is a delegate of authority form used? When a cardholder wants to delegate U.S. Bank access online to their account for administrative purposes. So manager wants to delegate their account access to their coordinator or analyst. This is the form that they would use. And again, it's only for U.S. Bank access, not Concur. Make sure that you're reviewing and verifying the transactions. As I had mentioned earlier, this is one of the purposes. Downloading the monthly statements, and then note that the delegation of authority does not grant the delegate to act or call on the cardholder's behalf. So again, it is purely access to online information, not calling or acting on the cardholder's behalf. Form requirements, ensuring the form is complete and all its signatures are obtained. And then electronic signatures require the Adobe audit report. So those were the 5 request forms used. We're going to shift to forms, starting with the lost and missing receipt verification form. This form is used in place of a lost or missing receipt. So when is a lost and missing receipt verification form used? It's used when a copy of a lost or missing receipt cannot be obtained from the vendor. It's also used when a receipt is not itemized or is in a foreign language. Form requirements. Please ensure you document your attempts to obtain a copy of the receipt from the vendor. Attach your emails, log your calls. We want to see all that information. Also detail itemization of every item purchased. So if you're having a meal out, you're going to detail the meal, you're going to detail the drinks, you're going to detail any tips and tax. All of that needs to be included. And then ensure the form is completed in full and all signatures are obtained. Electronic signatures require the Adobe audit report. Any questions? All right, the P-card unauthorized purchase approval request, also known as the UPAR. This form is used for services paid without obtaining the required pre-authorization. When is the P-card UPAR form used? It's used when services have been paid using the P-card without pre-authorization via the queue number process. Form requirements. Ensure the form is completed in full and all signatures are obtained. The P-card UPAR should be attached to the unauthorized expense associated with the Concur P-card expense report. A P card UPAR acknowledges a policy violation, and as such, this document essentially results in an infraction against the cardholder. Any questions? All right. So now let's review the 2 requests that can be made by email, starting with the P card temporary limit increase request. This form is used to request a temporary monthly and/or single purchase limit increase for costly purchases. The general processing time is 1 to 2 weeks. When a temporary limit increase is needed, generally, P card temporary limit increase is needed when the cost of the purchase goes above the cardholder's limit, set limits. So if a cardholder has a set limit of 5,000 and they want to make a purchase of 10,000, that is the time when you're going to request a temporary increase. Some examples include travel, such as international, group, or paid by others. So I can see like a coordinator, maybe covering travel for their entire department. They would need a temporary increase. Event costs, such as venue, catering, and rentals, projects, equipment, and so on. The purpose of this request is to prevent split transactions from occurring, to circumvent a set limit increase, which is also a violation of policy. A temporary limit increase for declining balance cards cannot be requested. Any questions on that information? All right. Request requirements for the temporary limit increase. Ensure that the email includes the cardholder's name, last 4 digits of their P card. They're going to include the increase amount, so the monthly and/or single amount, and what their current limit is, the from, to what they are increasing it to. The duration of the temporary limit increase. Maximum per policy is 2 months. So again, if you're planning an event and you have expenses leading up to your event, you may want to take advantage of the 2-month period. Business purposes, the business purpose and justification for the increase, and then any supporting documentation such as a quote, IT authorization, queue number, etc. And then approval from the cardholder's approving official or department head. An email from them is okay, it's acceptable. And then just make sure that the request is making it to eBusiness. Queue number requests. So queue numbers are pre-authorizations is a pre-authorization to use a P card to pay for services by a vendor that is not already pre-approved. The general processing time is 2 to 3 weeks. What is a queue number and when is it needed? The queue number is a pre-authorized number assigned to a cardholder requesting to pay for services with their P card from a vendor not found on the authorized service provider list or the approved catering list. Examples of service include, but aren't limited to, catering, customization, repair services, job postings, space and facility rentals, equipment rentals, etc. A queue number is not needed for curbside deliveries or pickup. And a queue number is not issued after payment has already been made. So if you've asked a vendor to provide services, and you pay them without the queue number, the pre-authorization of the queue number, we will not issue another queue number, or we won't issue a queue number for that because you've already paid. It is then a UPAR. Request requirements. Ensure the email request includes the scope of work or service, justification or detailed business purpose, supporting documentation such as quote, certificate of insurance, workers' comp, waivers or insurance, any documentation, and then pre-authorizations such as IT authorization of the hospitality form, branding management approval, ADA review, anything that would require pre-approval. Oops, apologies. And then the submittal of the documentation does not grant authorization to initiate the service. Oops. And then the request should be emailed to eBusiness. Any questions? All right. So we're near the end. I've included links to all the forms we've covered. And again, this presentation will be shared, so you'll have direct access to these links, but all of our forms are found on the C&P website. And then all requests should be emailed to eBusiness. Any questions?
Lots of questions in the comment section.
Okay, great. Let's see. Bianca or Rosemary, do you want to maybe read some of them out loud?
Hi, Nikki. One of them was if there's a place on Staples Advantage where staff can be inputting IT authorization.
Not that I'm aware of, but that's a good question. I will look into it and we'll have to get back to you.
Hi, Nikki. Can I add to that question? So this is
Sure.
Alicia in the College of Ed. So I guess it's more of a general question of what you guys want us doing as far as the IT authorizations and also the hospitality forms when it comes to Staples purchases. Like who is that the responsibility of the account holder just to maintain the files in their office? So you don't
Yes.
you don't need the college management checking in on that, or
No, not necessarily. It's should the program get audited in any way, what eBusiness is going to do is refer them to the department. So yes, the department should be keeping the IT authorizations, the hospitality forms on file. It's not that eBusiness requires it, or requires you to submit it or note it in the orders, but you should be keeping it on file should you be audited.
So sorry, when you say department, so I know you guys look at all of the departments on campus as departments, but in a college, right, we have the dean's office and then we have our departments. So when you say department, is that the responsibility of the college to be doing that or the individual card holder in their department?
Unless the college is placing orders for the individual departments, then I would say, yes, it's their responsibility. But if the departments are placing their individual orders, then it is the department's responsibility.
Cool. Okay, got it. Thank you.
So there was another question that says, is there a time when a P card increase request should be considered a requisition instead?
I was gonna
Yes,
say, yeah, I was gonna say yes to Nikki. I believe if the purchase requires formal procurement process or contract agreements or involves any restricted items that we cannot purchase with the P card, it should go through a requisition rather than the P card increase.
mhm. Thank you, Rosemary. Yes, exactly. Yes, so there are times where we may see a request and ask you to submit a requisition for the reasons that Rosemary just gave. The program is meant for small dollar purchases, but there are also limitations on what the program allows, right? So if it's outside of those boundaries, we're going to refer you to submit a requisition.
Another one was for Q number. What about off-campus printing and floral arrangements? We have received different advice about this over the years. Brenda kind of touched on it and said that if they are not on the approved vendor list, then it would require a Q number.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you, Brenda. Yeah, so printing, we always want to keep our campus dollars on campus. So our preference is to utilize DPS whenever possible. Otherwise, our next referral to you would be the authorized vendors. And if that vendor cannot, or those vendors cannot provide what you're looking for, or you prefer another vendor, then it is a queue number.
Okay, it's me again.
Sure.
So we've had in the past maybe 2 years, we've had staff submit requests for queue numbers for those types of items, and we're told by eBusiness staff that they're considered goods and not services. A big example of that is the floral arrangement. Like we had somebody request that an actual arrangement was created for them, and eBusiness staff told them that it was flowers are considered goods.
No, we
Okay,
would consider that a customization.
Yeah.
You're having a floral arrangement done. That is a service. So there is such thing as a service and a good. So that's where the floral arrangements would fall into. And that because of the service component of that floral arrangement, it requires a queue number.
Okay, so that's going forward, because that's what I had told our staff to do, and then your eBusiness said, no, you don't need a queue number.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. I'll make sure
right.
that a team is on the same page.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
That's all I see in the chat for now that hasn't been answered. So if anybody else has any additional questions, feel free to speak up.
Well, I just wanted to share with you our contact information, as well as our QR code to take the financial services spring 2025 training survey. There is a QR code, but there is also the survey link. And then my team is providing that information as well in the chat as well. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes if you have any last minute questions. But again, I thank you for your time. I hope you found this training somewhat valuable and useful. And we hope to see you at the next one. Thank you all.
Hey, Nikki, I actually have a quick question.
Sure, yes.
So for catering, we have some event coming up soon in the Alumni House. And so for food for catering, as long as they're not serving, we don't need a queue number, or we do need a queue number for food.
Are they just dropping off the food?
I think so. I think it's just they're dropping off the food.
Are they setting it up?
They possibly might be setting it up.
So the setup part, because they're stepping
Onto campus.
on campus, yes, that would require a queue number if they're not an authorized caterer.
Okay, and then just to clarify for authorized catering, I'm looking on the website right now for campus caterers, CSUF approved caterers, and I do see them listed on there. It's Jason's catering event. Does that
Yep.
mean they're approved? So we
Yep.
do need a catering, or we don't need a queue number for them then?
If they're on that list, you do not need a queue number.
Perfect. And then just to clarify too, with rent a party or the create a party, are they approved or they need queue numbers too?
They need queue numbers
They need queue
too.
numbers? Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
we were supposed to go out for bid for a rental company. That's still in process. I was hoping to have it squared away this spring, but it looks like it might be pushed to summer. So hopefully soon we'll have a rental company available without having to request a queue number.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.